Hello, I'm Tom Sidener from Revenant Toy Restoration, and today I'm going to show you how to fix a He-Man figure that has really loose or broken legs. So every once in a while you'll get a He-Man figure, and this is a great figure. This is Cobra Khan. I really like this figure, except for his legs are completely wobbly. There's no way he would ever stand up. He sits really well, so you can actually sit him, and actually he just kind of falls over there too. But his legs are really wobbly, and he needs to be repaired. Now when these came from the factory, they had a rubber connector that went from one leg to the other, and over time, even if these were not played with or they've been stored, this rubber tends to deteriorate, rot, as you will, and then the legs just become wobbly, and then eventually they will actually just fall off. So a lot of times you'll get a character that either has really wobbly legs or has legs that are completely disattached. So if you get something like this, the first thing you have to do is the painful thing. You have to actually remove the legs from the body, and it's very easy. You're just going to take it, you're going to pull, and the legs are going to snap apart. Then just go ahead and pull the other leg out, and you're going to end up with this little bit of plastic rubber stuff here, and we're going to need to get as much of this out as we can. Some people like dig it completely out. I usually don't dig it completely out, but I get as much as I can. So before I go into actually how to do this, let's quickly go through what tools you're going to need in order to make this happen. So, first of all, I'm going to need 2 pairs of pliers. I use one bullnose pliers and one needle nose pliers. I'll show those on the upper screen here. I also use a small flathead screwdriver, and I use a small straight pick. And then I also use a zip tie that I actually cut the head off of, so it's just the zip part of the zip tie. So it just and what I did is I bent it in half, and then I kind of bent the end so that it's kind of got like a little curve in it. I don't know how well you can see that, but it's got a little curve in the end, so that when I put it up inside the figure, it'll actually go through where it needs to go. So those are the tools that I need. You're also going to need a repair kit for the legs. I make my own repair kit. First of all, I use this for one leg, which is a eye hook and a band, and then I use this one for the other leg, and then eventually they will become attached together as one piece. The O-rings that I use for the band are number 31 O-rings. I get those at Lowe's. They're not very much, like $2.50 for a box of 10. And the eye hooks that I use for the male figures are the Hillman Fastener 212 by 5/16, and they come in a pack of 40, and I think this costs like $3.50 or something for a pack of 40. So you can, for very cheap, you can fix a lot of figures. So let's go ahead and get started, and I'll show you how to do the actual repair. Well, first thing we need to get what's left of this old rubbery stuff out of there. And like I said, some people like to dig the whole thing out, but I just like to dig as much as I can out. So I just get down underneath there, and I just remove this part, throw it in the garbage, and then I get down in this one, and I remove as much as I can out of here. Mainly what I want when I do my repair is I just want a flat area in there. The next thing I do is I find the left leg, which would be on my right, but I find the left leg, and I poke a hole right straight down the middle of it. This is just a guide hole, so when I'm putting in my eye hook, it goes right down the middle. So I poke a hole down through there, and then I take the eye hook that has the band hooked onto it, and I just want to let you know that I actually sit around at night when I'm watching TV and open these hooks and put these bands in. So they don't come this way. I actually make these kits. Then I'm going to just put the eye hook into the leg, into that hole I made, and just start turning. And I want to turn it until I can feel that it's past the rubber and into the plastic, and then it's got a really good solid grab. And so right about there I can feel it really grabbing, so that's about good enough for now. And there is my left leg. And then I'm going to take my right leg, and I'm going to poke a hole down the middle of it. I just like to poke the hole because it keeps the eye hook going straight in. And then I'm going to drive the eye hook into this leg as well, and just run that down until I got a pretty good solid stop there. Once I've got it down in there and it's solid, then I'm going to take my bullnose pliers. I'm going to get a hold of this side that doesn't have the opening, and I'm going to take my needle nose pliers and get a hold of the side that does have the opening, and all I do is I just give it a little twist, okay? So I twist that enough to where I've got kind of a sideways hook there. This is going to allow me to hook it onto the band once I have it through the figure. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my modified zip tie here and I'm going to put it through the band, like that. And then I hold it together so that it's kind of one piece here. Then up inside the figure, back up here, and I don't know how well you guys are going to be able to see this on the camera, but if you look back here, I'll use my pointer. If you look back here, there's a little area back here where the band goes through. So it's not towards the front, and it's above this bar that goes through here. And then it's right back towards the back. I'll hold that up a little farther so maybe you can see it better, but it's right back towards the back. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this zip tie, I'm going to hold it together so that it's like one piece, and I'm going to stick it back up through that hole and push it through, and then you can see it's starting to protrude out through there, and then I'm going to grab it. And then once I've got it grabbed, then I'm going to go ahead and pull the rubber piece up through the hole. And you can see that coming up through there. Then once I've got it from one side to the other, I usually take my screwdriver, stick it down underneath and inside the band, like that. And then I pull the band out so that my screwdriver is across the opening for the leg, just like that. And once I've got it like that, then I can just go ahead and slip my zip tie out, and that's all, and I'm done with that. Once I have it like this, then what I do is I grab my screwdriver and I put my thumb on the figure like this, and I give a pull, so I'm pulling the band up through, and then I just move and my hook underneath the rubber band and bring it up through. And then what I like to do is I like to bring the hook up on top of the screwdriver, something like that, and then I close the hook while it's on top of the screwdriver. And then to close the hook, I'm just taking my pinch nose pliers and I'm just squeezing that back. And sometimes if it actually pulls apart a little bit, I also squeeze it back this way just to make sure that I've got a good solid connection there. Once that's connected, I pull out my screwdriver, and the legs are actually at this point attached. Now, they're all wobbly and they're not how you'd want them. They're just as bad as they were before. But what we're going to do is we're going to tighten this up. Now, when we tighten this up, the key thing is that we want this circle part of the eye hook to actually complete this circle of this leg here. So you see how this leg's kind of got a half circle? We want the top of that eye hook to complete that. I've actually worked on several of these that people have repaired themselves and they did a really bad job, and mainly what they do is they don't drive that eye hook deep enough into the leg. So make sure that when you get done that you only see about half or a quarter of that eye hook sticking out of that leg, and that's going to let the leg move freely and pretty much move the way the original one did. So once I have the legs attached, what I do is I take my straight poker, I stick it through the eye hook, and I just start turning the leg. And you're going to turn the leg until it feels like you've turned too far. And what I do is I turn the leg till it feels like I turned too far, and then I go one more round. Because I like to make sure that my leg is very far down in that eye hook. Because if you don't get it all the way down in the eye hook, then the leg won't move freely in there. The eye hook will actually get in the way of some stuff in there and not let your leg move freely. But I like to let it, get way down in there. I want it to be at least half of the way down in there, or maybe only a quarter of it sticking up. So once you've got that leg done, then I'm going to move over here. I'm going to do the same thing with this leg. I stick my straight pick in, and the only reason I do that is just to keep the eye hook from moving around. And then I just start turning it down. Sometimes I have to pull my straight pick out a little bit if it starts getting too tight in there. So I usually will run it down so far, about right there, and then I pull my pick out a little bit so I can run it down a little more, and I run it all the way around until I usually try to keep my line of my eye hook in line with the crease on the leg. That seems to work out pretty good for me. Bring that around, and there we go. Sometimes you may have to adjust where the leg is, so that I've noticed that one kind of flipped around on me. So this is where I want the top. So it's simple. Just put my eye hook back in there, bring it around just a little bit more. There we go. I just brought that crease there up around to the other side of the eye hook, and there we go. And those legs are extremely stiff, really easy to stand up now. And there you go. His legs are fixed, and he can stand and fight just like the rest of the He-Man. So there you go. That's how you repair the legs. So if you have a figure that the legs are wobbly, off, or something like that, this is a quick fix. just a few cents of a repair will get your guys back going, and they display really nicely. And unless somebody starts pulling on the legs, nobody really knows that you've ever fixed it. And as far as I'm concerned, the legs are much sturdier and much more solid than they were from the factory. So that's it. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to put posts in the video below, or send me a question on our Contact Us tag on the Revenant Toy Restoration website. And until I see you guys again, keep playing with figures, keep having fun.